I'm sitting with Teeranun Srihong, the president of Kasikornbank. We're going to talk about banking and finance in Thailand. We're going to talk a little bit as well about how fintech and the modernization of technology fits into the banking sector in Thailand and the rest of Southeast Asia. Thank you so much for sitting down with us and taking the time to sit down with us to talk about the impact of technology in finance and banking, both in Thailand and in the wider region of Southeast Asia. I really appreciate it. It's very nice to meet you as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. Now, just for a little background for me, I spent about 20 years in securities trading at companies like Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, and my forte really was taking technology and the trading businesses as a trader and using it to collapse in a commission-taking business the cost of doing the next trade to zero. So it meant that as we did more and more trades, as technology made us more productive, we were able to make more commission even at lower commission rates. So the productivity that we gained by using technology allowed us to make more money. So I'm just curious if you can talk a little bit from your perspective about how banks in Thailand are using technology and what you think the impact of fintech that is being developed outside the bank is going to be on the banking and finance sector.
We're looking at how digital technologies can benefit us in three forms, actually.
Three forms.
First is the same thing, higher productivities, better efficiencies on our operations. So the general process automations, general process re-engineering, which we've been trying to do that for the last 30, 40 years.
Right. I mean, it's a process, right?
It is the process. It's still the key thing, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not just the process, it's about how decision can be made faster.
Absolutely.
With more, better information and all that. That's one thing. Second thing is on improving our interactions with our clients, both in terms of products and services, right? How relationship managers can have these tools so that they can know more about customers and use that information to have deeper discussions and bringing proper solutions to customers.
So to help facilitate the KYC, the know your customer stuff.
Yeah, KYCs and also the general interactions so that we can actually start custom tailoring our solutions to fit particular problems.
Right. I mean, if I understand the client base for Kasikornbank, it's going to be very important for them to get customized solutions and not just off-the-shelf solutions.
That's right.
So using technology to do that is going to be really important.
Yeah.
When you look around the market now and you look at fintech companies that are building technology outside of your banking infrastructure, what's your view on how you perceive them and the impact it's going to have on you, and maybe the potential to maybe collaborate or work together with them?
And that's the third area. Actually, we're looking at the digital technologies to help us also maybe getting into a new market or new offering or new type of services or products.
Understood.
That we, under the old structures, we cannot. Right? So, because these technologies can open doors to many things.
Right.
For example, serving the underserved markets
more
efficiently.
For instance?
Like the micropayments.
Perfect, okay.
Even like area like peer-to-peer lending.
This is what I wanted to ask you about, actually.
Peer-to-peer lending to us is person-to-person lending. It has been there.
So
and banks have never been able to capture into that kind of value chain.
So I've been thinking a lot about peer-to-peer lending recently, actually. And it seems to me that a bank that deals with high net worth individuals and also very successful SMEs that may have cash flow problems is probably already matching.
Yeah, we do.
Right? On a non-kind of scalable business. So your customer service agents know this person and know this SME. And they probably connect them at some level with some slightly higher interest rate.
Yeah.
But if you could build a platform that does peer-to-peer and connect them seamlessly, this is what we were talking about before. Now you have a scalable business.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And that
facilitates
can also be scaled down to the micro peer-to-peer lending also, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do a whole bunch of things around payables, receivables.
That is a huge market.
It's a huge business as well. And I agree with you. I actually think that business is already happening, but it's happening slower because the technology hasn't been built yet to facilitate it. So do you have a view on crowdfunding? And particularly crowdfunding as it applies to sort of fixed income products as well, not just peer-to-peer, but larger size loans for your clients to invest in maybe housing loans on a kind of a peer-to-peer basis, but more on a crowdfunding basis. And then afterwards, we can talk about the equity business
That's
as well.
also another interesting area that we're looking at on how we can participate at the moment. And crowdfunding is not just on the lending side.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about crowdfunding, we can talk about like charity donations.
Absolutely.
We can talk about some kind of social projects.
CSR.
Entertainment.
Right.
We just actually team up with a new crowdfunding platform called Aciola. Just a few days ago, actually. And they are doing, they're allowing artists to fulfill their dreams by having this crowdfunding platform to connect with their fans and the people who wants to support their missions.
This is really interesting. So the bank also uses technology, or uses other people's technology to facilitate this real CSR stuff, to participate in the arts and to promote the arts as well. Really interesting. How about on the equity side?
Equity side, we're looking at that at the moment. I think we're still waiting for a clear regulatory guideline on that.
This is the other thing I want to ask you about. You must do some work on the regulatory side. Because right now the regulations don't actually facilitate or kind of directly allow for equity crowdfunding per se.
I would say they're catching up, and they're trying to catch up very fast. Actually.
Right. And when you do that, and when you're discussing this with the regulators, do you use global best practices to try to tailor the Thai laws to the local market, or are you just trying to do it on a regional basis?
Well, we're focusing on Thailand at the moment, and, but our approach is actually working with them to ensure that we have a proper framework for Thailand, which has its own unique characteristics.
Absolutely.
So importing the Western type of laws may not be fully applicable. So we're working with them on how to actually taking some of the good concepts there and apply it here, so that we can really fit what the status of the market is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer that each individual country has its own sort of idiosyncrasies, and that the legal system and the regulatory environment has to be built around those things, as opposed to just importing something from any other, even a neighboring country.
That's right.
It's very different.
That's right. And each country has different problems that they want to solve.
Yeah, or just different issues that need to get resolved, right? I strongly agree.
Yeah.
Look, I really thank you very much for sitting down and talking with us today. I don't want to take up so much of your time. It's very interested in fintech. I've kind of been involved in fintech my whole life. Yeah. It was really interesting for me to get your perspective on how that was going to work in Thailand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.